Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General, Presidential Spokesperson, members of Parliament, portfolio committee leaders or chairpersons. This is a special press briefing where the President will be addressing the nation on a few issues, just like one or two issues. But before he comes in, I will invite the presidential spokesperson to speak to one or two things before we can call upon the President to address the press. Thank you so much. Honorable Sangasa.
Thank you very much, Moderator. I'll be very brief because where your boss would like to speak, you always want to give him an opportunity to be the one to deliver the message to the nation. But permit me just to make very few remarks about this issue that is now taking center stage in our political commentary since the issue of standing as president since the issue of filing nominations for president came to light. We are very surprised as the Tonse Alliance and other alliance partners in the FDD, in the Tonse Alliance rather, including the FDD, why the UPND has taken almost on a parroting basis this matter to the public and suggesting as they are that our candidate, Honorable Mundubile, is not going to contest elections. I must let the nation know that at the occasion of briefing the political stakeholders, when ECZ invited political parties and other stakeholders, we sent members, senior members of the Tonse Alliance who attended that briefing at the ECZ. At the ECZ, they made it very clear, the ECZ, that individuals such as Honorable Mundubile are also eligible to contest for elections. And the only requirement that was made very clear to those who were participating in the briefing is that somebody ought only to be sponsored by a political party, or if he elects, he ought to stand as an independent presidential candidate. What has surprised us very much is why this has even become topical. It would appear now that there is unease on the part of our competitors. They are afraid of two things. Firstly, they are afraid of the Tonse Alliance and its partner, the FDD. And secondly, they are very, very afraid of the candidature of Honorable Mundubile. This is very clear from the incidents that we've been subjected to in the last couple of days. The ultimate one of which was this purported claim by somebody who claims to be a member of the FDD who has challenged the convention that was held by the FDD and is purporting that he's going to take the matter in court because in his assessment or in his allegations, the FDD did not comply with their constitution when making the resolutions they made, including recommending or adopting Honorable Mundubile as the preferred candidate for the FDD. This is a matter that the President is going to speak about himself, but I just want to make these remarks. We would like the UPND to stay away from the remarks they are making now, suggesting to the public that they would be the only ones who would choose which presidential candidate are going to compete with them. This is a democracy. The UPND, just like the Tonse Alliance, are merely participants in the forthcoming elections. They should leave the responsibility of determining who is going to contest as president to the ECZ. It is not up to them to say who they would like to compete with. I've used this example many times before. It is unheard of where you hear that Power Dynamos is going to play football with Nkana Red Devils. And then Nkana Red Devils begin to tell you which players Power Dynamos are going to utilize in the game. You are undermining the role of the referee. Now, the ECZ is not only a referee for the elections. They actually have a constitutional mandate to manage the elections. They should be given that latitude to exercise that mandate free and without any intimidation or without any undue influence from anybody, including the UPND itself. We were surprised. We just came from the engagement with the ECZ ourselves, where we went to verify because our candidate, Honorable Brian Mundubile, has already made the payment to the ECZ in compliance with the guidelines that were given by the ECZ to demonstrate his readiness to participate in the elections. We were even surprised to find that the ECZ has been surrounded by police vehicles. Now, we've done elections before. We have done election preparations before. There's never been a time when you have gone to the ECZ on an ordinary day like today and go and find paramilitary have surrounded the ECZ. This shows that there's an environment of fear within society, and that everybody is now don't know, or rather everybody doesn't know what the next step that the citizens are going to take against or with the ECZ. We would like to tell the nation that Zambia is a peaceful nation, that ECZ can function without any undue influence from political players, but most importantly, that everybody who is going to participate in this process only needs to demonstrate one thing, and one thing alone, that they qualify to participate in the elections. And secondly, that they are supported by the requisite number of people who are expected under the Constitution to support the candidature of such a person. And Honorable Mundubile qualifies in those respects. In fact, we were trying to argue with somebody. We told them, we don't understand why people should begin to get afraid of the entitlement of Honorable Mundubile. Because Honorable Mundubile has served as Member of Parliament for 10 years. Under the Constitution, a person who qualifies to be a Member of Parliament should be able to qualify to be a presidential candidate, right? Only with one or two other, qualifying requirements. So why would somebody who has already served 10 years as Member of Parliament, be deemed to be unqualified because somebody doesn't like the fact that an alliance called Tonse Alliance has been created? I would like to remind the nation that the Constitution in Article 99 and Article 100 provides for the qualification of somebody to contest as presidential candidate. And if people are not, aware of this provision, I would just like them to go and read the provision of Article 100 of Act Number 2 of 2016. You will see very clearly in there that Honorable Mundubile qualifies to contest this election. Before I hand over the mic, let me just remind the IG of the police, Mr. Grafel Musamba. There are statements attributed to him suggesting that they are going to warn and caution anybody who would want to come and contest elections, either from the opposition or as an independent candidate. We find these remarks extremely unprofessional. We find them very unfortunate, and coming from somebody who has a constitutional mandate to manage the police service in the country. Mr. Musamba, his mandate is legal. He has nothing to say about who qualifies and doesn't qualify to contest elections, either as councillor or as Member of Parliament, and most importantly, as president. Because whoever is going to win the next election, and we are very confident ourselves that our candidate will win, Mr. Musamba will have to start saluting to that person. It is not in his place. It is not in Mr. Musamba's place to begin to threaten people directly or indirectly. Leave the electoral process to be handled freely and fairly by those who have got a constitutional mandate, to manage the affairs of this nation. Like I said earlier, this is an important occasion for the president of the Tonse Alliance and the presidential candidate of the Alliance in 2026, Honorable Brian Mundubile. And allow me to give him the podium so that he can address this important matter to the whole nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Fellow Zambians, I address you today on a matter that goes to the very heart of our democracy, the truth. A video is circulating on social media claiming that I will not be contesting the 2026 presidential election. Let me state this clearly and without ambiguity. That video is false, it is fabricated, it is AI-generated disinformation. It has been deliberately designed to mislead the public, discourage our supporters, and create doubt where none exists. I therefore wish to assure the nation, I, Brian Muntayalwa Mundubile, will be on the ballot in the August 2026 elections. I have carefully examined the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, and I fully meet all the legal and constitutional requirements to stand as a presidential candidate. there is no basis, legal, procedural, or otherwise, to suggest to the contrary. What we are witnessing is not politics. It is an attempt to manipulate the democratic space through deception. Zambia's future cannot be determined by fake videos. It cannot be shaped by rumors. It cannot be stolen through misinformation. It must be decided by you, the people, guided by the truth, ideas, and credible leadership. To our supporters across the country, I want to say, please remain calm. Remain focused. Remain confident. Do not be shaken by falsehoods designed to weaken your resolve. To those behind this misinformation, understand this. Truth does not retreat. It stands. The Tonse Alliance remains strong. Our message is clear. Our vision is intact. We move forward, united in purpose, steady in conviction, and confident in the people of Zambia. As we approach this important election, let us be clear about what will truly determine its outcome. It will be decided by farmers who seek reliable inputs, fair pricing, access to markets, and policies that reward production, including timely payments whenever government collects their produce. It will be decided by civil servants who desire dignity, fair conditions of service, and a government that respects their contribution, including merit-based recruitment processes, and not recruitment driven by unknown databases and connections, as it were. It will be decided by young people who are ready for the opportunity, for jobs, and for a future built on real economic transformation. The youth in Mufumbwe, the youth in Kasenseli, and youth in Kanyelele, the youth at Kikonge Mine in Mufumbwe, the youths in Chingola, the youths in Kitwe, all those that lost the Black Mountain, those are the youths and those are the voices that will speak in this year's election. These are not just places that I've mentioned, they are lived realities. They represent young people who want to work, who want opportunity, and who want to participate in a functioning economy. This election will also be decided by the marketeers, Vana Kulumutinta Pamakasane Misepela, the bus drivers, the taxi drivers, Yango drivers, truck drivers, men and women who rise each day to earn an honest living under increasingly difficult conditions. The election will be decided by the doctors and nurses who graduated many years ago and have been volunteering in these government hospitals and yet have had no opportunity to be employed. They are still waiting for a chance to serve the nation they trained for. These are the voices that will speak in this election, and I will not abandon them. These are the voices that matter. These are the priorities that must shape our future. Fellow Zambians, this election will not be decided by propaganda. It will not be decided, it will be decided by your voice. And your voice will be heard. May God bless you and God bless the Republic of Zambia. I thank you.
Well, thank you, members of the press. If you have any questions, we'll take a few questions before we wind up. Any questions from the press?
Media these days doesn't
It was
ask
very
questions.
clear. No, it was
There's a
very,
question?
very clear.
There's a question.
Yes, please.
There's
Good
one
afternoon.
question.
Greetings from Damuti. I just wanted clarity. ECZ, the commissioner from ECZ indicated that so far 14 presidential candidates have paid the fee. So I just need clarity from you. Are you saying the Tonse Alliance has been denied to do verification at the Electoral Commission of Zambia? I need you to clarify on that.
Council will speak
Are you
to that.
called among the 14 or you are outside that bracket?
Okay. Sorry. I'm the one who's handling that matter with the ECZ, with the campaign team for the presidential candidates. I'm not too sure I understood the question when you talked about whether we've been denied chance to do verification. We haven't been denied any chance. The important points to make are that we attended a briefing last week on how this process is going to roll itself out. There are a few requirements that have to be complied with, and the first one was to make the payment for the candidate, to demonstrate that the candidate is ready to contest the election.
Yeah.
So we made that payment yesterday, and gracefully the ECZ today gave us the receipt for the candidate. So we can confirm that our candidate is amongst those 14 that have made that payment. On our part, the process is still ongoing. We're still in engagement with the senior staff at ECZ to basically indicate when we will go to file the nomination papers, because remember there's a calendar they're trying to originate, and that calendar is rotated by discussions between us and the ECZ. We are very confident that by tomorrow possibly we'll know the date when our candidate is going to be allowed to go and file these nomination papers. But that said, we are ready to contest this election.
Any other question? If no question, we can close with a few slogans. It's a political meeting. Mingalato, Kwempa. Mingalato,
Kwempa.
Mingalato,
Kwempa.
Ichintinya.
Kwempa.
Ichintinya.
Kwempa.
Ubufi.
Kwempa.
The Vice President, Madam Mtaina Lumango, made a comment that citizens should not vote for songs or political parties that are going to come up with big songs. They should instead focus on the manifesto. I cannot agree with her more. I think the focus by the Zambian people really should be on what manifesto political formations are presenting. It's a commitment. At Tonse, our manifesto is a social contract between the Tonse government and the Zambian people. That's where we have talked about job creation through industrialization. We have talked about agro-processing parks through the agricultural sector. We've talked about improving the energy sector, both the electricity and petroleum subsectors. Now, what is important, what I thought the Vice President missed out, she should have also discouraged political parties that have gone all out there with slogans instead of manifestos. For instance, when somebody says "Sot Sana" as a manifesto, that is deception, because the Zambian people cannot hold them to account tomorrow, because they would have campaigned based on "Sot Sana." Somebody comes up and says "Kwenyu." At Tonse, when they're saying "Kwenyu," we are talking about job creation for the youths, and we've been able to explain how we are going to create jobs for the youths in different sectors. So the Vice President could have gone further. Sot Sana, Kwenyu, and all these slogans should now come to an end. They could have been tolerated earlier, but now that we're at a point where citizens are supposed to choose their leaders, political parties must come out and present their manifestos so that they face the Zambian people based on what they promised to do. A manifesto will later be translated into a national development plan. Yearly budgets are drawn from national development plans. We have seen a tendency of political parties going into government unprepared. And when there is failure, they begin rushing to witch doctors. We have to refrain from that. Come out, explain to the people what you're going to do, and not get into government. When you fail, leave them to do what they know best. I just thought I could say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We started with a prayer. We will close with a prayer, this time from a gentleman.